Anyway, I'm giving you lessons here, aren't I?
Yeah, you are. I've learned a lot. How did your experience affect your religion and your faith?
I come from a very, very religious family, one of the Orthodox family. So my youth and my background and all my family life, I remember, is sort of involved with belief in religion. So I can't discard it just like that. Those people that were not religious never spoke Yiddish. Now, when we arrived in Auschwitz after the cattle truck from the ghetto, after having sort of had a terrible journey, all you could see from the cracks in the cattle truck, there's some people with striped, you know, the usual uniform, cotton uniform, as you know, working beside the railway, beside the tracks. And they kept on shouting in Yiddish, and they were Polish Jews who were in the camps for much earlier than we were. Kept on shouting in Yiddish, don't save any food. And the children must say at least they're 16 years old if they're asked. And suddenly we started walking. Well, first of all, I started running over to my mother, who was walking with my younger brother and sisters. And she said, no, go back to your other side, which was for the men and my elder brothers. And we started walking. Suddenly you could see somebody, an officer with white glove pointing here, there. Of course, he had no idea what it was all about. And he came in front of me, stopped for a second. He said, how are you, in German, which is very, very akin to Yiddish. Wie alt bist du? How old are you? And just automatically I said, I'm 16. Now, if I would not have been able to understand what that Polish Jew was shouting, I would have said possibly 12. Although I was big for my age, I certainly would have been allowed to live had I said I was 12 years old.
It seemed like that all the decisions were made really quickly, and that's something that's quite terrifying, actually.
I think to myself, you know what, I hope there is a God, because I feel if and when I die, I want to meet the Maker.
Yeah.
And ask him, well, could you tell me, what happened? Why, what was it? I say a joke. What was that joke you played on me? Out of my family, I told you there were 9 of us, 9 children, and to my mother and father, there's only me and my brother survived. Well, he died about 7-8 years ago. Oh. He saved me from the jaws of death literally 3 times, definitely. Literally. At one stage I was locked into a camp with a children's block, and there was an air raid siren, and the rule was the minute the air raid siren sounded you had to disappear from the camp, or open air, and the nearest one was a child block, and I happened to end up in there. And once the all clear sounded, they didn't open the doors, and my brother came along, found out where I was. He said, come on, you got to come out from there. I said, no, I can't, I'm scared. They found out that you're trying to escape or something, you're going to be punished bad. I was literally scared. I said, no, come on, you must come out with me. And eventually he took me out. Overnight, you could hear a lot of commotion going on, and lorries turning. The following morning he woke up and the whole children's block was empty. All the children taken to the gas chamber. Now, if he wouldn't have been there to help me out, I wouldn't have been, obviously, alive.
So these granddaughters?
Yeah.
And they have children of their own, don't they? Grandchildren.
Yes.
So obviously that must be hard to imagine, children of that age going through what you went through.
I didn't think about it as well, I just carry on with it.
Yeah.
But I must say, it's not easy, and it hasn't been easy, and it's not getting easier. I wonder if all this remembrance and help and going on would have happened without the Holocaust. And I mean, did it have to take a Holocaust for people to wake up and do something about it? I wonder what's the purpose of it all. I give talks to children, and when I ask them about certain questions, I'm absolutely astounded to know how little they know about it all. And I think, like problems in the world, people don't want to hear problems, they want to hear good news, or laugh. They would laugh with you cry alone. And the same thing happens about this. I think that people want to hear, no, yes, it's education is forward and we want to do this and that. But I'd like to see some results of that.
Yeah. Hearing people's stories, like their own experiences, survivors, or that's different because it gives a human connection to it that maybe if people keep thinking about it in terms of how it's affected people.
I have a very, very strong feeling that somehow or other the problem never occurs in the same way where you expect it. In other words, I don't think there'll be another Holocaust as such,
no.
But it'll be something different.
Yes, it's just so horrible that it's beyond sort of reality in a way. I really appreciate you doing this, you know.
You talk about it in living here in the 21st century.
It's hard to imagine.
But it's hard to imagine.
Yeah.
When I was writing my story back as well, I thought about, did I actually live through all that? Even I can't believe that.
Yeah.
The tragedy.